Hello and welcome to our webinar. My name is Andrej of Zebra BI, and today I'm extremely excited because I'll be able to show you how to build advanced Power BI dashboards. Now, many of you know me from my previous work as a consultant and from our previous work in Excel with our Zebra BI add-in. But this time, the whole webinar is dedicated to Power BI and some best practices. And what I'm especially happy about today is that we have just released the official version of the Zebra BI custom visuals, which will help you create better dashboards with some advanced charts, with advanced data visualization methods like the small multiples, like a different perspective on managing the outliers, and actually the whole IBCS notation is implemented with the custom visuals and so on. So let's dive into our topic. Here's the short agenda. So first, I'll try to present the Power BI reports and dashboards, just briefly and a short overview, and then we'll dive into some best practices like advanced charts, building small multiples, supporting the IBCS notation. I'll present also the Zebra BI custom visuals. We'll also take a look at the mobile dashboards. There are several ways how to build mobile dashboards in Power BI. I'll try to show as many best practices regarding the interaction design, because the Power BI is a really powerful product. It has many options how to design for nice user interaction. It's highly interactive, and we'll take a look at different ways how to do that in Power BI through the so-called bookmarks. And so on. Then I will also show you some tricks and tips, how to, for example, how to use the page layouts to speed up the development of dashboards and dashboard pages across across the company, across many users through Power BI templates and things like that. There'll be lots of small tips and tricks, how to use the slicers, horizontal slicers, and different ways how to do that in Power BI. And I will try to present this across the whole Power BI stack, because the Power BI comes with a few different flavors. So you have the Power BI service, which is of course in the cloud. You can actually create your reports and dashboards directly in the cloud service, so directly within the web browser. Or alternatively, you can use the Power BI desktop tool, which you install on your computer, and then you can design in the desktop tool. And then once you have your dashboard ready, you can publish it back to the Power BI service and then share it with your end users through the service. And also, like the last step or the last possibility is the Power BI report server, which is basically the on-premise version of Power BI. So you can do everything internally within your company on-premise through the report server. I'll try to share some resources and also the download links, of everything that I will do and present today. At the end, there will be some time for your questions. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have at the end. So if while I'm doing the presentation, while I'm doing the demo, I'll do the demo live today. I will build everything live. I will build a dashboard in the Power BI service. I will build a dashboard in the desktop version. I'll try to explain the differences. There are some limitations in the service, but also some advantages in the service. And there are some other pros and cons for doing the stuff in a Power BI desktop. So if you have any kind of questions, just please write your questions in the questions box, and then I will answer all of your questions at the end of this presentation. Last but not least, we will send you the recording. So we are recording the webinar, so the recording will be available in one, let's say 2 days after today. All right, with that, I would actually like to dive in and just show you what I mean by building the advanced dashboards. Okay, so this is my Power BI. This is my Power BI page workspace. So I'm currently logged into the Power BI service, and these are, I have a couple of workspaces here. So basically Power BI lets you organize your dashboards and your reports, and also other things like, the data sets and the workbooks into workspaces. And the two basic terms in Power BI are reports and dashboards. So let's start with a sample report that I've built for this webinar. Some of you have seen this already. This is the demo that we have used to present the Zebra BI custom visuals. And let me show you. So this is now one page in my report. It's actually, I would actually call it a dashboard, right? But in Power BI, just technically, dashboard is something else, and I will demonstrate how to use both. So this is the so-called Power BI report. This report is highly interactive. So for example, when you have different charts and sort of tables or table chart combinations and text, and you can use maps and different types of custom visuals that are added, developed being developed in the Power BI community. So you can just mix everything up on the report, which is fantastic because you can just use any kind of resource and just put everything on the same report, same page. And the same goes for the data sources. You can just connect to any type of database. Like you can start with Excel, but you can link to any kind of relational database, to OLAP database through the analysis services, so the multidimensional or the tabular databases. You can connect to Hadoop and other big data sources. You can connect to web services like your Facebook account or your company's Twitter account, and you can do social media analytics and whatever. It's really easy to plug into any kind of data source. But today I'm here to talk about the design of reports, the interactivity, and so on. So for example, here I have a page. Let me put this in the full screen mode. All right, and so now, for example, I have this page which is completely, so this is within my browser. Okay, so it's completely interactive. You can, for example, view the data for all the month, or if you have a chart, like monthly chart, you can just click on one month, and then everything else is filtered just to see the result only for this month, right? So if you click once again, the filter is disabled. So the total is 22.1 million, the sales, and you can see the sales. So this is my 21.1 million here. This was actually this was my plan. So I see now I have the variance by month here. So I understand, that we did not meet the plan. So this is 4.7% below the plan, right? And these are the variances, the monthly variances like that, right? So if you now just click on August, you can just reuse the same report to show the results for the month of August, which is 3.2 million. And unfortunately, the plan was 3.5, so we did not meet the goal. We're actually 8.6% below the goal, right? What you're seeing here are custom visuals, are our Zebra BI custom visuals, so all the charts are actually implemented with this custom visual that is now publicly available. So you can, we have a free download. So I'll share all the links at the end of my presentation. So with this, you can choose a product category, for example, here, like this is home or men's, or women's, right? So here's a problem, women's, right? So the user can sort, so like the default sort would be by sales, by the actual value, but you can just simply change this. You can just click and now you sort by the absolute variance, either descending or ascending, to spot the problematic one. So the woman's category is problematic, then you click and then you get, everything else is now filtered for the woman's category. So you see the monthly sales of, products for women, and also here the comparison to the plan and so on. One more click and, the filter is out. So this is one page of this report. Let's see a couple of more examples. You can use the small multiples here, which are, at least in my opinion, one of the most powerful methods in data visualization. As you see, the charts, we have multiple charts here on the same page. All the charts are scaled. So now I understand that the men's category, so the category of clothes for men, this is a sample dashboard based on a retail operation. So it's a big retail store. It's a demo database that Microsoft is using. And you see the men's category is the biggest one. And then, the shoes, home products for juniors, women, kids, and so on. And as you see here, those charts, these are not just some standalone charts that I would just throw on the page, but they are scaled, right? So the scaling is the same across all the charts. So I understand the relations between the data, which gives me, the opportunity to make good visual comparisons. I can compare different categories. Understand that the men's category is so much bigger than, the intimate or the groceries and so on. I can see the comparison to the plan for each data category and so on. But now, what the user can do with this interactive filtering, you can click here on the men's category. Okay, I get this huge chart now here, but now you can control and click. So if you use control and click, you can make a multiple selection. So you select multiple categories. So now we are comparing men's clothes to women's clothes, the sales of that, and I don't know, the juniors and so on. And now, as you see, this part of the visual is now adapting to the data, and it's kind of, it's completely responsive. So it can show the data in perfect setting, always, depending on the space that is available and on the number of categories and the values that are inside, it will just, somehow stack the charts in a meaningful way like that. Okay, then you use the slicers. I will show how to create slicers like this. So now we have month January up to July. You can just click and the July is out, and then you can the next month just add another month, and everything is updated instantly like that, right? Good. So okay, maybe one more. I think you got the idea, right? But you can do detailed reports, like for example here we have a list of all the stores in this retail chain, and there we have a comparison of the stores. It's sorted by the actual value. So this is now the sales in US dollars. You can sort by absolute variance or by relative variance, you see. So it's highly interactive. And now if you're interested in a store, you just click on the store, and now here on the left part you will get the details, what is now the sales by category inside this store, what is the comparison to plan. So this store has 217k sales, but unfortunately this is 1.8% below the plan. And now we see the details why. Oh, the shoes, not good in this store, right? The men's clothes, okay, and so on. But you see, I can just click here. Then we have the details, like for example, in some cases you will have the percent variance will be huge. And what these visuals will do, you see, they will not show the whole value, but they will actually trim the value, so limit the value here because this value is an outlier, right? But it's not just cut. A little arrow here indicates that the value is actually somewhere outside of the visual, and we get this arrow here, and the label is still correct one. So this is actually 87% growth of the home products here, and similarly here for the negative variance, right? So you see there are lots of little details in those visuals that are implemented here. So I would like to just demonstrate how you can build all this stuff in Power BI. So now we are still just in the Power BI service, right? So this is now online cloud service, and I'm logged in from my standard browser. I'm using Google Chrome, but you can use any kind of browser. It works quite nicely in all the standard browsers. So for example, now this was my report. I was just viewing it, and now I will edit this report. So I just click edit, and let's actually try to recreate the whole report, right? And see how much time will it take me. So I'll just delete a couple of things here. It's a monthly chart. Hopefully I'll be able to I'll remember everything that was here. So okay, so these are my charts here. So the standard Power BI comes with many different charts, like column charts and bar charts and stack charts, pie charts, and so on. So if you do this, you will get, and just throw in the data. So for example, data by month and so on, and you'll get your typical charts like that, right? So this, you can then change the chart like this. As a quick rule, if you have time series, so month, quarters, years, and so on, always use charts with the horizontal axis. So time should run from left to right. Everything else, if this would be the product, then you would switch the chart to the one with the vertical axis. Okay, so these are now the standard charts, right? The problem with these charts is that if you, for example, now want to do something more ambitious, like add the product category, you see, you get the stack chart. So this is the stacked chart. If you do it side by side, you get charts like this. So it's kind of a typical problem in data visualization. One chart cannot really show things in a clear way, especially you see you don't have any labels here. Of course you get it in this tooltip here, but still it's kind of messy. It looks nice, it's very colorful and so on, but it's not really efficient it's not really very clear. So that's why we have developed the custom visuals, the Zebra BI custom visuals. So for example, now I'll do it with the Zebra BI custom visual. So let's throw in the sales. So this is my sales value. This is the actual, so it's 22.1 million. Okay. And now I will also add the goal, so the plan. And when I click, you see the chart has adapted, right? Now that the visual knows that it has actual and plan, and it automatically switched the chart to this little waterfall chart here. So I have the plan. Well, actually, this since this is the plan, I will put this value into the field for the plan. Okay, which effectively changes my notation here. So now I have the PL for the plan, right? And it looks slightly different. So it's actually, the design follows the IBCS rules. Okay. So this is now the IBCS notation. I have the plan, and this is my variance, right? I have a little difference highlight here. But these are just the totals. So now let's go on. Now you want to see this by month, right? And you see everything is done automatically. Basically, you just click through the dimensions, you just throw everything on the chart, right? And now this chart is also completely interactive. So for example, now I have the plan, the total plan value, the total actual. Now I have the variances by month, which are calculated by the visual itself. So all the, the variances, everything is calculated completely automatically. And it's also interactive. So now you can just click here on the label, and now the label changes to absolute. So this is now the total difference between plan and actual is 1.1 million. And you click once again, you have both labels, like 1.1 million, which is 4.7%, right? So you just click on the labels like that, right? To toggle between the labels. The same visual can actually show many different charts. Okay, so in contrast to Power BI, you can simply just slide through different options. So you see now you can get different types of advanced charts for especially for if you're an FP&A controller and so on. These charts are very suitable because they make really clear comparisons between the actual and your plan, or actual and your previous year, or when you do a comparison to a certain benchmark, to your competition or something like that, right? So just basically slide through the charts back and forth, more or less like looking at the pictures, right? Now what is even more interesting, okay, so now I'll make this chart much bigger. Okay, and let's go on. I will now add, for example, the product category. Now I just add product category, and what happens is I get multiple charts, right? So I immediately got the small multiples, right? So now I have the men's category and so on, and everything that I've shown you works in the small multiples as well, and it's automatically adjusted in a responsive manner, right? So if you have a lot of, space, then there will be, 3 or more charts in columns. But if your space is limited, like for example, when you're designing for your mobile, you'll just make it, more narrow, and the charts will, the user will be able to just browse the charts like that in a vertically, right? So everything that you do on one chart, like you click here to change the label, maybe you just need the percentage, click and you got the percent, right? So it's really, really easy to use. Throw out the category, make this chart a little bit smaller. And now what I will do, I will pin this chart to my Power BI dashboard, okay? I'll just click here and then later on. So now what I will do is pin the chart to my dashboard. I'll choose an existing dashboard, like pin, okay? And now, while I'm doing this presentation, I will just pin certain charts to my dashboards, and then in the end, I will show you how the dashboard looks like. Okay, so this was my first visual. Now we'll add the second one. We call this the Zebra BI Power Tables. Effectively, this visual is designed to show, structured data, like data by product, by product, by category, by region, or costs by cost type, or cost centers, and so on. So again, you can use it just for simple data, like the sales value, or you can make the comparison to the goal, when you click, you see now you have the comparison, the variance is calculated. Here again, you can switch to, you can say, okay, this type of KPI is actually a plan. Okay, and now we have it like this. And let's add the category. This time I'll add the product category, and you see I got a simple, I already got the whole chart with the comparison, and this already works. So, you know, the interactivity works straight away. This is the default Power BI feature. So now I have the men's, you know, juniors, women's, and so on, right? So it's interactive by default. But what we have done here is, for example, now if your space is limited like this, you know, it looks like this, but now if you have more space, so let me make this bigger, look what happens. You see, so the visual is completely responsive. If you have more space, you know, the visual will automatically change the display. So I got an additional chart here to display the relative percentage, so the relative variance to the plan. Okay, so now I have the actual values. So this is my sales, 4.5 million. This is the comparison, the variance to budget. So we are 7,000 and 700,000 below the plan, right? And this is the percentage. And now if I make the chart even bigger, this is now presented in even more clear way, right? So now I have three separate charts. So the first one for the sales, the second one for the absolute variance, and this one for the relative variance. And as you can see, some big values like outliers, you know, this is especially a problem when you have relative KPIs, like ratios, percentages, and so on. If your base value is very small, then percentages will be very volatile, and you know, you can easily have, you know, 300% growth from previous year on a small market or on some really small product or something. Right, so this works completely automatically like that. Let's pin this to the dashboard. That's another visual that will pin to the dashboard. And now let's go on. And this time I'll add another dimension to the same visual. So let's add some dimension from the store. So store type, or for example, store chain. Just click here. There are two chains. This retail operation has two chains. So like two brands, and in each brand you see this now the sales of the category. So everything is, you see, it's doubled. And now if you click one, you see the, you know, the sales of home products in fashions district and sales of home products in Linz's, right? And again, all the interactivity, the sorting, and so on works by default. All right, so this was very, very easy. If you remember, I had another chart here, a small monthly chart here. You can do the same thing. So you know, throw the visual on your report and add the data and so on. But let me show you an alternative way, which is actually quicker. You can just click on the existing chart, copy it, and paste. So just copy paste, and you will have the copy of this, the copy of the chart. And now I can put it here, and then just slide and change it, and now I have the monthly chart, and that's it. So it's really, really easy to build reports like this. If you just need, for example, here, if you need a total without all the differences, you can just, without the products, right? You can just take the same one, just copy and paste. Okay, this looks ugly now, but I will just remove the category, remove the chain, and what I'm left with is just one little element, you see. So the same visual can produce, you know, large basically reports, chart combinations like this, or very small elements that you can just add to your pin to your dashboard and just use them as a KPI indicator, right? So this is now the total sales This is my total sales versus budget, right? So you can use elements like this, maybe instead of, those big numbers like this here, right? And now you can combine it with other visuals, like for example, this here is, I think it's called the card. So for example, if you take this, so there are a couple of indicators. You have the KPI. So you have for example, this one is the card, is it? I think. And and now you put the sales inside this one. And you see, so this is called the card. So you have many visuals like this, right? So you have the default visuals provided by Microsoft, and then you have also custom visuals provided by other vendors and people from the development community. There are a couple of questions already, so let me see if I can answer this. First question, is this done in JavaScript? Well, the whole development this is pure HTML development, so it's done in HTML and JavaScript. Yes, actually TypeScript, JavaScript combined with with HTML. So this is pure HTML5 development, runs in any kind of browser. Web browser. Second one, we are using Power BI with the choice on which reference to use. Only one area per format. Waterfall. Automatically change the format of the bars or zero. Okay, so I hope I understand this question. So the question was, is it possible to change the KPI inside here inside, and this also if the change the format of the bars. Format of the bars. Not sure if I understood. So there are a couple of things here. First of all, we have the notation. So how exactly does the visual look like, right? Depends upon the type of data, right? So you can say, okay, this is my plan. But if this was actually your forecast, then you just take this field here and put it in your forecast. You just switch to forecast, right? So now I have the different notation. This is again the standard notation for the forecast, right? It's striped. If it's previous year, you move it up and you have the light gray like this, right? So I'll just put it back to go. So this is how you switch between. This is how you determine the scenario of your comparison. Then the other thing is if you're using other types of other labels, like for example in your question was like last year, you can use just last year, just type it here and it's immediately shown here on this on the axis and everywhere else, right? You can change the design settings, right? So this is like the default zebra style. You can just switch to some other style, like for the IBCS gigs we have the Dr. Hichert style, which is the official IBCS notation, without the arrows, very strict and so on. You can use the Power BI colors, right? So if you switch to Power BI, here you get the Power BI colors. So this is on the design tab. So like that. We also have like colorblind safe colors, so color deficiency is a more correct term. Or you can just use the custom colors, right? So you can just switch to custom and now you can change anything, right? So you can have, for example, blue versus orange or so on. You can pick up the custom color, exact custom color, and you can have blue, orange, and so on. So this is the customization of the color. And then the last thing is, if you want to change the KPI dynamically, right, then this is also possible. So you can actually have like a drop down here, or like a slicer that would change your KPI, which is something that can absolutely be done, but then you need to have a slightly different model here. So for example, if you see here, I have for every KPI is a separate measure here in this database, but you can actually change the model of this fact table, and you just put all the measures in one dimension. I call it the KPI dimension. So then in this case, it's actually a dimension like KPIs or something, and each element in the dimension, is the name of the measure, and then you can use this in a slicer, right? I can maybe later on I can share an example like that, or you can write me an email and I'll share an example how this can be done. Especially this things like that can be easily achieved in the Power BI desktop, which I intend to show very, very quickly in a very short while. All right, so you have seen the small multiples, right? So this one is also very easy, but it has the slicer also. So let's recreate this part. Okay, I'll just delete this. So I'll use the visual. We have the sales, the goal by month, I think. All right, and make it bigger. And now we can put all the product categories. Oh, sorry. This is what happens if you don't select the visual. So first it has to be selected, and now you add the category. All right. So the first part was quite easy, and since my comparison KPI is actually the plan, again, I will just move this. You see the goal. I'll just say, okay, this is a kind of a plan. Okay. So this was the first part. I can, switch to absolute or relative, or maybe both, right? And you see this one, the slicer here. This slicer also easy to achieve. I'll just delete it. You see, when I delete the slicer, I don't have the filters right here, right? So it's not filtered. I have all the month. Okay, so for the slicer, just use this one. So this is the slicer. Just click, and this will give me the slicer. Okay, and what I want to put inside are the months. Okay, so basically this is the basic form of the slicer in Power BI. There are many slicers available. So the basic one is, it has this vertical, you can just click, and by default it will just select one month like that. And then, so this is one mode. You can select just one element, and then with the control and click, you add more elements into your selection, right? So this is one way how the slicers work. But then if you switch here to the settings, you have some basic settings. For example, the selection controls. This is the single selection. By default, it's single selection. You click once, and the previous filter is cleared, and you always have just 1 month. But if you disable this, now you have multiple selection. Now when you click, you just add the elements into the selection, which is what I wanted in the first place. But I also wanted the horizontal one, so you can just switch the orientation to horizontal. Okay, and now of course I'll put it like this. Yeah, something like that, right? So this, and now it works in this way, like horizontal one. So many times horizontal slicers work slightly better. Okay, so what else? Let's put this one to pin this to dashboard, and pin one more element to the dashboard. Pin. Okay, so see you can change the charts even once you set everything up. You can still take a look and see maybe this chart is better than the next one. And when you see everything is when you click on July, now you see the values for July. Everything is highlighted like that. You have the area charts, the line charts, and you can also filter. You see filter June, July, like that. Or in the simple line chart, like this, June, July, like that. And now when you pin this one, you see it's basically the same visual, but it just gives you, many different options how to view the data. It's like an image viewer for the data. And yeah, if you have too many labels, then you have some advanced, settings like, the chart settings, design. We have showed the design, the titles, the design, what exactly is the font size and, the colors of the fonts and stuff like that. So you can actually have purple titles, just don't do that, please. More importantly, the data labels, there are some interesting settings like, the density of the labels. You can switch to something else, like for example, this would show only the last or the maximum, the maximum, the minimum value, and the first and last values, which are usually the most important ones. So to make it more clean like that. Okay, so this is how you build the so-called reports in your Power BI, like that. At the end, you save it, and because I have pinned several visuals to my workspace, I can now take a look at my dashboard, the so-called dashboard. So the reports are here, the dashboard is here. This is the one that I have just created, you see? So this is what I created when I was pinning all those visuals, right? Now I have it on my dashboard, and dashboard is like just another way how to show your data. The good thing about the dashboards is that you can pin visuals from different types, from different reports, right? So you can just pin a visual or a couple of visuals from your sales, a couple of visuals from your, from your financial, like P&Ls and balance sheets, or, from marketing data, or, any other data. Now, the good thing about the visuals is, okay, let me go back. When you click on a visual, you drill, you hyperlink to your report, but you can resize the visual, right? Like that. Okay, and you can make it maybe smaller if you have enough space, right? Sorry. Okay, this is too condensed, right? But this is how you can do it. If you have a really big visual, oh, sorry, this one is, where is it? Okay, so for example, if you need more space, so for example, this is the small multiple. Look what happens when you resize it on your dashboard. I'm too fast. Okay, so you can actually resize it and see what happens because the visual is completely responsive, right? It also shows, it shows my charts in an optimal way, even on the dashboard. Okay. Sorry about this. I'm a little bit clumsy with my new mouse, but you see, it's like that. Or, for example, this one, this was the small visual. I'll just make it very small, and I will just use it as my, KPI indicator or on my dashboard. So with the same visual, you can create many different types of of views. And for example, this ones, I'll put them here, and oh, what happened? Let me refresh this. Okay, so you see, if you have a lot of space, you see all the charts, and even on the dashboard, when you make it smaller, if you put it like that, you have two charts, and if you make it even smaller, then also this chart will just, combine with the first one. And this is the most condensed view, right? And so it always looks good no matter what you do, right? And now, so you can use it in a dashboard like that. And then when the user opens this in the focus mode, look what happens now. Now you can open in focus mode, and I will see the whole picture, right? Because again, now in this setting, I have the available space here. Okay, so this is how you build the so-called dashboards, right? The dashboard is automatically saved when you go back to your workspace. You enter and you have the new, the new layout like that. And then when you're designing for the mobile, then you just switch here from web view to phone view. Okay, phone version, when you switch around. All right. And Power BI will, already do something, Power BI will put the visuals on your mobile dashboard, and you see, so you just basically resize them a little bit, and you see now this one is the small multiple. So, so in this case, it's rendered in just one column. So the users will just slide through all the charts within this frame. Okay, and then you see I'm not sure why this one is empty. Okay, so you see, this is it. This is the same visual, and it also looks good also on the mobile because it's responsive, and it just it's perfectly rendered also on the view. So this is one way how you design for the phone. Okay, so this is the dashboard for the phone, Power BI dashboard for the phone. We have just edited this view. Now you can switch back to the web view, and now automatically when you will log in from your phone, you will automatically see this version of the dashboard, as opposed to this one. And then so you can use the dashboards as an entry, as a landing page, but then people can just click, and when they click once, they will get the whole report, and this report can now have many pages like that. Okay, you can also have some hyperlink, hyperlinks. You can use the hyperlinks inside. However, this is where some limitations of the Power BI service come into play. You cannot really add links in a really nice way. So you do have some other elements, like for example the text boxes. You can add a text box like that, and you can just write some comment. Write some comment like this. This is just a free text box, and you can use it quite successfully for for better storytelling, inside the visuals. And you will also find some shapes like oval shapes, and then you can just change like the color, the fill color, make it more transparent, with the lines, different types of lines, and so on. So you can use things like this, and now these elements can also contain a link, right? So you will find on the format shape, you will find the option to enable the link, and now you can just choose the type of a link. So you have basically two options. One is the back link, which is automatically goes back to the previous page, and then the second one is much more interesting. It's called the bookmark, right? The only problem is that inside the service, so if you're just designing in the cloud like I did, then you cannot really add the bookmarks, right? You cannot really add the bookmarks, but you can, of course, do that in Power BI Desktop. So let me just switch now to my Power BI Desktop. So I have a similar, basically the same report, the same dashboard also here in the Power BI Desktop. Again, I have all the visuals, the default ones, the custom visuals, right? And you do exactly the same. So see, this time I'm also using a little map here, and I'm displaying the variance, the sales variance, so actual versus plan by city, right? By the store on a map, which is really nice because you can You can click on the month and then you see, sorry. Now this happens because my database is actually in the cloud, and Power BI has obviously logged me out. So when you start, you will have to do exactly what I'm doing right now. So you'll have to log in. Zebra BI, let me sign in. Oh. What happened? Add Zebra BI. Sign in. Okay. Okay, this will take just 1 second. All right, this is my secure password. So now I'm logged in. If you want to refresh the page, then one way is to go to another page and go back home. There's this button called refresh here, but it does not really refresh in all the in all situations. So I just recommend switching the page. All right, now this should work. Okay. Oh no. Oh, I'm really sorry. Something is not, my data is not, maybe I would have to close and open again. Well, not sure, but it works in the same way. What I wanted to show you are the links, okay? One advantage of the Power BI desktop, okay? So this desktop, this is my desktop application, okay? Let me close and open just one more time to see if this will help, right? So now I'm working with my files. So now my whole report is in a file, like an Excel file, but this time this is called the PBIX file. So this is the Power BI desktop model, and this will now open the Power BI desktop application once it's loaded. Okay. The advantage of using the Power BI desktop is that the Power BI desktop actually has a modeling part, very powerful. So you actually have the Power Query. You know, you can model your data. You can design the ETL, so make all the connections. You know, you can do things like, you know, you can transform your data sources, like unpivot columns, and do many different things, which I will have to cover in a separate webinar. But in terms of reporting, you can add this time. You can add, for example, if you go here, again, you have, you know, the text boxes, the images, the shapes, and so on. So you can add a shape like this, right? And now this shape, when you enable the link, okay, this shape can actually link to a bookmark, okay? And this time you see I have many bookmarks already, right? So now I can link this shape to some, for example, to my category page, right? And next time the people will click, when you click, you get to the next page, and here I have the back page. So I can say link back, sorry, like that. Okay, and for example, I use this as, let me just delete this. I like to use this in charts, so that you actually design the interaction through the data itself. So for example, now here I have the top and bottom 10 stores like this, and then I have a separate page here by store. You see, with all the list of all the stores, and then the details if you click on one store, and so on. So now you can design the landing page or the home page for the user with a selected, just these are top 10 stores, bottom top, but here it's the link, so I can see the top ones and then just click on the icon and I will get all the details. I'm just transferred to this detailed page, and then I go back here again to my home page, and products by category in a simple chart. But then when you click, you get the full details with more options like this. Okay, so these are the bookmarks. How you create the bookmark. So for example, here if you want to bookmark this page, you do it here. You go to View and enable the bookmarks pane. Okay, now you'll see the bookmarks. Let me just do it like this. And you simply add a bookmark, right? These are my added bookmarks already, but for a new one, just click here, add, and you will get the bookmark. Now you can rename the bookmark. So this is like, okay, by store. Okay, and now I have a new bookmark, and now I can go back to my home page and use this bookmark here, right? So go here, and I will say link, and you see, you enable the link, you select the bookmark, and now you see the new one by store, and now it will work. So when the user will click, it will get to this bookmark. So there are several other ways how you can use the bookmarks. For example, you can do something like you can go to the spotlight mode. You can put this in a spotlight mode, which I don't find really helpful, but still you can use this as a bookmark. So for example, let me show the bookmarks again. You can say add a bookmark. Okay, bookmark 10, and you see now Power BI bookmark has remembered that my visual was in this spotlight mode. So you can, when you're here, you can actually, when you click on this bookmark, I'm transferred back to my page, and with this visual already in this spotlight mode, right? Or another way, you can put this in the focus mode. So if you open here, focus mode, meaning that you will see this visual in the full screen, on the full screen mode, the bigger one, and now you can actually add the bookmark for this focus mode. So now I can add, like this, and I don't know, stores in focus mode, something like that. Okay, enter, and now when the user will, browse everywhere, now you can just click here, and you will see the stores in the focus mode. Or you can actually create a link, a shape with a link, with this link, and it will transfer the user. Then the user will click on the shape and go to exactly this bookmark. Or alternatively, you can actually click View here, View, and now you can use this. Now you can use the bookmarks for storytelling, right? Now what this does is you will see the bookmark pages exactly in a sequence, desired sequence, the first one, the next one. So you see, you get this little navigation bar here, and can just go, just switch the pages. Then you can use the same page, but this time the filtered ones, you see, because this bookmark only has the men's and women's category selected. Or you see, you can use this, spotlight view in another slide, or the filtered, the focused, you see, in the full focus, and so on. So you can mix it up and use this basically for storytelling, and then you can just exit here or here at the bottom, and you click, you're back to your original report. And this report, once the whole report is done, the beautiful thing is you click publish here. And now, because I'm logged in as a user of the Power BI service, I will just, okay, first you need to save the whole report. I made when you publish, okay, now it's publishing on the SharePoint. I already have an old version, so I'll just replace it. Oops. like that. And now it's publishing it to the service, to the cloud. Okay, and once this is done, you can go back to your online cloud and you will see it in your workspace. This is actually a different workspace. I can save this. And you see, this is the one that, no, the reports. Okay, this is the one that I was showing you right before. And now it's published. You see, this is the one with the icons. And when you click, all the navigation is working in the browser, right? You can put it on the full screen mode and you can go and present. You don't need any kind of PowerPoint and so on. It's much better live here in Power BI because everything is completely interactive. You see, you click month, everything will change. You know, you can just take a look at the women's category, what's wrong with the women's category, right? So the men's and so on. Okay, my time is up. I would love to talk about this more and more and more, but I will do more webinars. This was the first one. So I wanted to give you an overview of the things that are available, of the new Zebra BI custom visuals. Our custom visuals are available right now, so you can go and download the Zebra BI visuals here. So it's Zebra BI /PBI, right? So Power BI, PBI. Just if you go here to this link, I think I have it already somewhere. Okay, it's coming. Okay, so you will see it here. Just go to this address. There's this little demo here at first, but when you scroll down, just just log in, just put your name, last name, and just click get me in, and then you will get the email will be sent to this address with the download, with the links, with the download links, and then you can just add the custom visuals to your Power BI, right? And you just add, it's very simple how to add the custom visuals, right? You will not see those two icons, but when you get the link, just go here and click on those three little dots, the ellipses here, and choose import from file. Okay, import from file. And now you choose the files that you will get with the download links. There are two visuals, meaning two files. The first one is called the Zebra BI Power Tables, right? And after a few seconds, the visuals will be imported, and you will see them here. And the second one is called the Power BI Zebra BI Power Charts. Okay, this is the second one. You just open this, and again, they will get imported, and then you will just use it natively in Power BI. All right, let me try to answer your questions. There are some questions. Not good with switching. Oh, wow. Lots of questions. Let me see if I can help you guys. Do you need to format the fact table in a specific way in order to be used in Zebra BI? No, not really. What if I have actual and budget measures in the same column, and in the second column the values per row, AC and BU? This is great, Yusdeni. This is another way. I'm not sure if I have a demo. Well, definitely you can do that. So let me try to explain here. So the source, the data source, what is important is, maybe I'll just do it here. So for example, the important thing is, well, if you have the comparison, the Zebra BI, custom visuals will work much better, right? So for example, they will look like this if you have the comparison, right? This is because I have added two measures, value and the goal. So you have the, sales and the plan. If you don't have the, the comparison, the visuals will still work, right? The visuals are smart enough to detect, whether you have the forecasts and previous year values and actual values and all that. If you don't have them, just for a simple, sales, you can still use it, right? You can just use it for things like this, you see, for nice multiples, small multiples, or, or you get it, then Zebra BI makes some sort of, custom, like default comparison to the first point or things like that. So, it's smart enough to adapt, but you will get much more value if you add the goal. So this is if you have separate measures, then you just put separate measures in the appropriate field. Like, this is how it would look like, how the forecast looks like. Now in the case of Yozdeni, you will have here the actual and plan, and then you just put actual to the values and you put plan to the plan, or forecast to the forecast, and then you just put the sales measure in the filter. Okay, so you put actual here, so the scenarios, you put the scenarios here, and then put the sales measure, the measure in the filter. You can use it in the page filter, so you can just put it on the page filter, like here. So you can just draw then the sales. So for example, this would be the scenarios, and then you have the KPI, the KPI measure. You put it, maybe to a page level filter. I cannot do this with this one, but it would be like you have a, you can, like something like this, right? And then you will have the list of all your KPIs, like the sales, the costs of goods sold, the gross margins, the EBITDA, and so on. You can just use it here, or put it in a slicer, which is a really nice way. So you use the slicer, and then you put your, and you will do it here, and here you will have the list of KPIs. So you'll have the sales or the costs, or the EBITDA and so on, and then the visual will adapt and will show exactly the right KPI. So it's possible, yeah. If you'll need help, just let me know. Just write an email to me, please. Okay. So there was the second part of the question about the scenarios and notation. Switch between scenarios and could recognize the scenario. Okay, so so Rob is actually wants to switch dynamically the scenarios. At this moment, it's not really possible. It will not change. You have to do it. You have to do it here. So you have to switch here. So this is in this version, but this is something that a few other clients have asked us. So I'm sure that we'll support this. It's actually easy to do in Power BI. So, but it's just, this is the first version. So it will be possible. At the moment, it's not, but I'm sure it will be possible in the future. All right. I have already answered. Thank you. Can you use the times as values in the charts, e.g. to display average waiting times per day, month? Well, for this, I would definitely recommend to, make a calculation and create a measure in your Power BI desktop. Oh, this one is obviously hanged or something. Yeah, I cannot show it to you now, but I would recommend to create a measure. I have not tried to, not sure what happens when you add time to the value. If you put a dimension, a text dimension to a value, like for example, if you put time, like the month, as a value, right? You get something, you see, but what you actually get is probably the count or something. So there should be, don't summarize. No, it's not really working in this way. So then you need to use some kind of a aggregate function, like, the first, last, like the count, or the count of minutes. If you want the count of minutes or something like that, you can try it like this. Otherwise, just create your own measure. Can you actually ensure the same scaling for one metric, like sales, across various pinned titles on your dashboard? That's a really good question, Arne. Unfortunately, this is not supported by Power BI. So at the moment, there's absolutely no way to do that. If you ask me, this functionality of the dashboards, right? The pinned dashboards, like I showed you here, is quite, it's nice to put everything together and resize it and so on, but that's more or less all you can do here, right? So this tile here has absolutely no relation to this tile on the right, and there's no way that we can scale this one with this one, right? At least not in a not in a proper way. So there could be there could be a workaround where you add maybe some, like a calculated maximum value in both visuals and then pin it or something, with some tricks. This could be done, but for now these are just completely separate visuals with no possibility of scaling between the two separate tiles, unfortunately. All right. That was great. So many questions. Usage metrics. Thank you, Suat. I'm not really sure what you mean by usage metrics. I'm not familiar with that. Sorry. The usage metrics. There are some. The usage is somewhere in the administration. So when you click here, you have the administration panel in Power BI, and here you can set up some sort of sorry, this is not the right one. You can actually set up the usage tracking, so you can see how many users were using certain report and so on. At this point, I'm not sure. Admin portal, it's here. So under settings, admin portal, and here you have you see the usage metrics, and now you see you have some sort of Power BI dashboard. Unfortunately, it's not so functional like ours, but you see you have most consumed packages and so on. So you have the usage metrics here. When you pin a chart, can you refresh it in the dashboard visualization? Pin charts are always show the last refreshed state. So you cannot force, for example, you cannot force the refresh directly on the dashboard, I think. At least I think so. But yeah, not sure if there's a way how to do that. Not sure, but there are many mechanisms, like you can have alerts, you can have we would need a special topics for that, but I'm not sure if you can just force the refresh from here, from the dashboard view. What are the plans about licensing? How much will it cost? Yeah, you can contact me. You can contact me. For now, we have a free version on our website, so you can just try it free. It has some sort of a limited time, but then when it expires, just write to us and we'll just send you I will just send you the updated version, for the next period. But if you would actually like to buy the visuals, we do have the commercially available licenses. So just write to us, and we'll make you an offer. Okay. There are so many questions. I think I have answered the major ones, and for everybody else, I will try to answer in the email, in a separate email. So I'll get back to all of you who have posed your questions. Thank you very much. I encourage you to download the visuals, and please give us some feedback. We love to hear from you. The whole thing is very new. Power BI is quite new, and the visuals are completely new. Hopefully they will help you create better reports, and so try them out and let us know how they work for you. Thank you very much. Bye.